Geoff Tuff, Detonate, Why, and How Corporations Must Blow Up Best Practices and Bring a Beginner's Mind to Survive. Get ready to challenge the conventional wisdom of best practices and embrace a beginner's mind. In the book summary of Detonate, Why, and How Corporations Must Blow Up Best Practices and Bring a Beginner's Mind to Survive by Geoff Tuff, we explore a new way of thinking for organizations. Discover 4 guiding principles that lead to real change, cultivating a deeper understanding of human behavior, adopting a beginner's mind, embracing impermanence, and using minimally viable moves. Leave behind the traditional models of strategic planning, risk management, and organization, and learn to focus instead on customer behavior and proprietary data for innovation.
Innovative business principles. To foster a culture of innovation, businesses should adopt 4 principles. Firstly, it's important to understand customer and employee behavior. Secondly, challenge the status quo with a beginner's mind. Thirdly, embrace impermanence and discard the idea of permanence. Finally, use minimally viable moves, MVM, to pursue small steps that can be corrected if they don't produce the desired results. By following these principles, organizations can successfully create a culture of innovation, which is necessary for survival in today's ever-changing business landscape. Beyond financial forecasting. Traditional financial forecasting assumes future sales will be the same or greater than past sales, which can create a false sense of safety and result in rigid budgeting processes. Instead, business leaders should focus on understanding customer behavior and drawing inferences on how changes would impact their company. It is crucial to discard the notion that life conforms to predicted figures, as it is becoming increasingly difficult to quantify and identify risk. Companies should challenge their team spending habits, as they may not need to spend the same amount as previous years to achieve the same results. By breaking away from traditional financial forecasting methods, companies can better prepare for potential risks and adjust their strategies accordingly. Strategic planning in companies. Traditional corporate strategic planning occurs annually using rigid processes led by financial objectives. This approach developed from agricultural calendars is now outdated and impractical in modern societies. Detonate your planning process by analyzing the factors that must align with your predictions for strategic goals to remain viable. Ensure your plan holds by reviewing the pivotal underlying aspects and updating your strategy when necessary. Middle managers who execute strategy often don't attend the retreat where planning happens, highlighting the need for inclusive and adaptive planning processes. Rethinking business decisions. Many companies rely on syndicated data reports for critical decision-making, leaving them vulnerable to competition in the market. To avoid becoming less appealing to customers, it is essential to generate unique data and adopt a beginner's mind when seeking new insights. Big data and specific, effective questions can help better understand customer behavior and fine-tune business models. Rather than pursuing rivals' best practices, companies need to differentiate themselves and provide customers with something exclusive. In a constantly evolving market, businesses must continually adapt and innovate to remain relevant and competitive. Learning customer preferences through poker. To truly understand customer preferences, avoid surveys and focus groups and instead, force them to make decisions. Poker strategy teaches that placing bets is the only way to gather information about other players, which applies to customer interactions. Understanding and managing risk is crucial, but observing and analyzing customer behavior through experiments and cultural anthropology techniques is also valuable. By simulating behavioral options and drawing inferences from customer choices, businesses can gain meaningful insights into how customers actually behave and use this information to improve their products and services. Innovation and risk management. Organizations need to blow up their risk management attitude and apply a beginner's mind to evaluate the risk of the unknown in order to achieve worthwhile innovation. Many companies overemphasize loading up the innovation process with new projects while releasing insufficient funds for bold steps to conquer markets. Organizations should ask sharper, more effective questions in the pursuit of innovation, and accept that not every uncertainty can be managed. Achieving success through minimally viable moves. Failure-happy behavior can be damaging to a business, lowering its chances of success. Instead, companies should embrace the principle of minimally viable moves, MVM, to keep every step of execution open to course correction. MVM is achieved by requiring openness and logical reasoning from your team, experimenting continually, and challenging your organization to generate hypotheses. By doing so, you prevent failure by noticing flaws in the logic early on. The book emphasizes that failure is not something to be celebrated, and instead, incremental moves that help you learn and adjust reduce the chance of failure. Applying MVM to your playbook will help improve your company's chances of success. Embracing impermanence. Traditional organizations should embrace the idea of impermanence rather than assuming that new roles will last forever. The principle of embracing impermanence involves shaking up the organization by discarding organizational charts and creating new roles that don't have a long lifespan. To dislodge lethargic units, leaders should encourage job moves within leadership and limit the size and scope of internal groups. Additionally, organizational design should not dictate actions, and structures that no longer shape customer behavior should be reconsidered. The key is to keep an open mind about organizational change and be willing to blow up new structures when they no longer serve their purpose, rather than celebrating failure as an excuse for mediocrity. 4 Principles of Innovative Thinking. The book encourages innovation by rejecting the conventional approach of relying on best practices. It proposes 4 principles to inspire innovation: focus on reasonable outcomes, seek solutions from elsewhere, explore possibilities, and discard old practices. The author urges readers to embrace these principles to move beyond the limitations of the status quo and adopt unconventional approaches to solving problems. The goal is to inspire innovation, not offer a strict guideline on running a business.
As we conclude our exploration of the Detonate, remember that for organizations to survive and thrive, they must reject traditional best practices and embrace a fresh, innovative mindset. Apply the 4 principles of diving deeper into human behavior, maintaining a beginner's mind, accepting impermanence, and making minimally viable moves to your organization. Shake up your strategic planning process and use proprietary data for competitive advantage. With a focus on real-world customer behavior, be flexible in organizational structure and prepared for constant change. Embracing these principles will lay the foundation for your organization's success and growth in an increasingly unpredictable business landscape.